I picked up a stone, then threw it forward. As expected, there was already a trap set there. I quickly called my son over, held his hand, and pointed out the general position of the enemy. Even though he couldn't see, his hearing was far sharper than most people's. When the enemy was about to attack again, I held my breath and listened carefully to every sound around us. From the faint noise of their bow being drawn, I pinpointed their exact location, then slowly turned around and hurled my weapon with all my strength. The weapon hit the enemy perfectly. At that moment, the girl noticed the fallen bow and arrow. It was the weapon she was best at using. She immediately wanted to crawl over to grab it, but the shadow beside her stopped her. After realizing what she wanted, the shadow said it would be safer for her to go get the bow. Then she stood up and slowly walked toward it. She didn't make a single sound or give off any sign of movement. She quickly approached the body, skillfully picked up a knife, and slowly reached out for the bow. Once she had the weapon, she turned to leave. But just then, an arrow suddenly fell.
Anyone, no!
My son's loud shout drew the enemy's attention. He didn't mean to, but in that instant, we were thrown into danger. I accidentally slipped, and somehow a wooden stick hit the wizard right on the head. That completely enraged him. Seeing him getting closer and closer, I slammed my hand on the ground and jumped straight into the air, landing right on the wizard's head. He fell to the ground from the impact. The wizard was furious. He immediately unleashed his ultimate spell and swore he'd tear me to pieces. But even I was shocked. I realized there was a barrier around me protecting me. Then I tried to copy the wizard's movements, and to my surprise, I could actually control the weapons he summoned. Seeing that I could do that, I was stunned because it had taken the wizard 30 years to learn. Just when I didn't know what to do, all the weapons suddenly flew straight toward the wizard. I couldn't believe I had such terrifying power. Then I fearlessly charged at the wizard and grabbed him by the neck. Right as I was about to kill him, his ally rushed in to save him. The flames his ally cast hit both of us at once. In an instant, the wizard was burned to ashes, but I came out completely unharmed. Seeing that I wasn't afraid of fire, his ally launched another attack at me, but I didn't back down. I blocked it with my head, and all his attacks bounced right back at him. I chased after him, jumped up and punched him hard, sending him flying. And just like that, I took down another enemy. But right then, I saw an even more terrifying one coming toward me.
I just mixed the poison into the drink. My husband appeared right behind me. Luckily, he didn't notice what I had just done. He picked up his glass and left the kitchen. When he sat down at the table, I froze, because I couldn't tell which glass had the poison in it. So I lied and said I had already had a little drink in the kitchen and only wanted to eat now. But he insisted I drink with him. So I nervously took a glass. At that moment, the poison took effect. My husband lost control of his body. He crushed the glass in his hand. He let out a horrible scream and collapsed to the floor in pain. He thought he had eaten something bad. He kept begging me to call an ambulance. And I finally said what I really felt inside.
Die! Just die!
Only then did my husband understand everything. But it was already too late. He soon passed out. I immediately called my lover to tell him the plan had worked. My lover is a forensic pathologist. He arrived at the scene with the police and lied that my husband had died of a sudden heart attack. But the sheriff grew suspicious because he knew my husband had always been very healthy. My lover suggested it might have been a stroke leading to heart failure. Suddenly he noticed the poison bottle left on the floor. He quickly signaled for me to pick it up. Just as the evidence was about to be discovered, I started a conversation with the sheriff to distract him. So the bottle wasn't noticed. My husband was taken to the morgue. The assistant prepared to make an incision to drain the blood, but the body unexpectedly moved its neck. The assistant said it was a normal reflex. As they were about to proceed, the supervisor was suddenly told to stop. That's because I had just insisted the body be buried as quickly as possible, and I wanted to keep the funeral cost low. So they grabbed a cheap coffin, sanded it a little, and painted it. The funeral was held the next day. I was very happy because I could finally be alone with my lover. Suddenly, a dog started barking outside. It was the dog my husband kept. I grabbed my shotgun intending to kill the dog, but I missed it and the dog ran away. Missing his owner, the dog ran to the cemetery and began barking wildly. At that moment, my husband wasn't actually dead, and because the coffin was poorly made, he broke out and climbed out of the grave. He returned home immediately. At that time, I was with my lover getting intimate. Seeing a figure by the window, I thought someone was peeping. My lover went to check and found only the dog had returned home. While my lover was away, my husband tried to get into the house through the garage. But because his leg was injured, he was locked out. So he smashed a window and hid in the basement. The next day I drove back home, and by then my husband had already loaded bullets.
Honey, I'm home.